Bienvenidos worldwide fans of cinema. You got Jaime En Fuego here with my running buddy once again. I'm CECIL LAIRD, and we're here for Enfuegotainment summer coverage in 2016, and one that has been like 2 years in the making practically to come out. Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh my God. A distress call.
Why are they screaming?
They're not screaming. They're celebrating. They're coming back. It has its own gravity. What goes up must come down. Shouldn't we be nervous? Yeah.
I always talk a little good, bad, and ugly on this program. Bueno, malo, feo. I'm going to ask you first and foremost, dude, what you liked about this. Did it live up to expectations?
I suppose it lived up to expectations because I didn't expect a whole lot. However, it didn't blow me away. It was kind of so average that there was a lot that I wasn't a fan of, and there was a lot that I liked, which so if I'm gonna pick a bueno to go with, it's gonna be the action, because the action was fun. The action was pretty over the top, and
looked good.
And it looked good. Exactly. Yeah. That's all I really wanted. I mean, it definitely, there was some practical effects that were missing, I think. I thought the aliens weren't quite as
maybe it's menacing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to reach for. Thank you. Yeah,
they didn't look very real. It was almost like the Ninja Turtle syndrome, or so many of these other total CGI characters that just don't have the same luster, right?
Right. But the actual dogfights and the firing of all the different types of weapons from the alien craft and from the human alien hybrid craft. And then the effects of the tug, the tugboat that goes from, it makes the jumps to the moon and stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah.
The effects were and the action were fun for me. That's
I can jump on that and say that one of the things that I thought was cool was we saw some ground combat in this, which doesn't really spoil much. I mean, they just expand the various types of warfare, I guess, that they wage with the aliens. And there's one character in particular, minor spoiler, there's a bit of the film that takes place in South Africa, which is where one of the original ships was, and you see that in the first Independence Day film. And so there was something interesting going on in combat with aliens for years, and there's some guys walking around with like big machetes and just slicing up aliens. So it's kind of cool that you get a little bit of that in the film. I thought that was novel and something new and cool to make mention of.
It was cool, and unfortunately I don't think we saw enough of that.
No, we did not. Yeah, they gave us a taste though, so that was at least something cool. But something bueno that I can mention is I love the return of Brent Spiner. He was like the ace up the sleeve for me. There was some stuff that I was really gonna list as the malo, the no bueno here on the program, but yeah, Spiner, Data, who everybody most knows him as, him coming back, expanded role, so much room for humor. He had me anytime he was on screen, I was smiling. My favorite parts of the film.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I'll probably use that as a segue into the malo, because that's the only bit of humor that was injected into the entire movie. Yeah, none of the other leads, like, they were given silly lines of dialogue that I guess were supposed to elicit laughs, but they didn't. So
not even a smirk.
No, my malo for the movie is the structure and the script, because the structure, very much like Star Wars: The Force Awakens, it mimics the structure of Independence Day 1 too closely. Yeah. Too many events
and in fast forward
happen and too many events happen the exact same way. And then the third act, which is supposed to be different, or sort of the back half of the third act,
it
ended up being
something I didn't expect at all.
It turns into a Cloverfield movie.
Godzilla.
Yeah,
I guess that's a little spoiler.
Yeah, but it's not that much of one, because it's not great.
There's various sizes of aliens. We'll just leave it at that.
So the lack of actual innovative the lack of innovation in this is a big problem for me.
Yeah. Whereas the first Independence Day was very original, this was very tropey, and honestly, as I said, fast forward mode. And I also felt like
surface level. Yeah,
and also I felt like people were just grazing over things. Worst for me being Jeff Goldblum, man. He was mailing it in. He was going through the motions. He did not seem to care. Pullman, a little bit, not as much as I was hoping for.
He had more to chew on, at least.
Yeah, he had some more dramatic scenes. But yeah, didn't all of the main characters almost seem, because we didn't see this together, unfortunately, they seemed like they weren't that worried
No.
There being an alien
Everything
attack.
happened
It was
too
like,
easily.
we've been here before, you know, we're going to get through this.
That's another problem with the script. Everything was just too convenient, too easy. By the way, somehow, if you remember, Judd Hirsch's character
felt so out of place and just forced in there.
starts off...
Love him, though.
Starts off in the Atlantic Ocean, right? Off the eastern seaboard. Somehow, over the course of like 5 hours, is driving up in the Las Vegas salt flats.
Yeah, ridiculous.
It makes no sense. It's like, wow, oh my goodness.
Donuts once again, yeah. So, and this is actually a decent segue into our Feo, the ugly portion of this. I didn't care about the new characters, and I didn't really care that much about the old characters. The thing that the first film, ID4, did so well is there was enough breathing room as, like, the tension built, because the first day they came, uncertainty. Second day they finally attacked, but they sequenced it so well and built the tension so well. In this, the fast-forwarding we were discussing, you didn't care about the new characters. The old ones were just kind of including one that just died so quickly, and you were just like, oh, why was that person even there?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say that my big fail is the death of my inner child, because it didn't ruin the first movie for me, but I think it's the fact that 20 years ago I was 15 when it came out, the very first one, so it was magical to me. You know? Yeah, and
this didn't invoke nostalgia for me.
It didn't. No, it was just like, oh, it really is just like I almost would have preferred a remake to this particular sequel. I don't know why. Like it's just ugly how disappointed I was in it. I think
same here, and I felt like there was more destruction and it was more interesting in the first one.
Well, the destruction was good in this one,
but they breezed over it once again. You know, the fact that they were trying so hard to get to. We're gonna spoil something real quick, to turn into like a ginormous monster movie at the end and stomping on everything and whatnot. I mean, it was just so biting on other things that have been going down recently.
Well, they tried to give the aliens a particular motivation, and they tried to say that the motivation is the same as the last time, but we never saw. You say the ship in South Africa we saw. We may have seen it arrive, but we never saw a ship touch down. And there's a ship that's touched down that they say happened in the first movie, and there was this whole ground war after the first movie, and it's like, why didn't we see that?
Yeah, it sounded so cool, and stuff tying into that was some of my favorite bits in the film, and so the Feo destruction I still kind of thought was lacking, you know? At the end of the day, I wanted more of it.
Yeah, there was one kind of big scene of destruction, and the rest was all fights and stuff. You're right, it paled in comparison to the first one. It was
lots of close quarters combat, though, like inside Area 51 and stuff like that.
Yeah, but even not enough of that either. No. It was really just mostly dogfighty stuff, so I think I might have been a little bit let down with that as well. I
wanted more ugly, damn it.
Yeah, really. The aliens looked okay, but they tried to do the same sort of voice thing, which you catch glimpses of in the trailer, so it's not a big reveal. But they didn't bother modulating the voice like they did in the first one.
So it didn't sound quite
the cool,
as scary.
like, release me from the first one is like totally gone. You know, it's so it's like, I tell you what, it's like they took as much bite as was in the original, they took out the little bit of teeth that were there.
Defanged.
Yeah. And that wasn't the bitiest of movies to begin with.
No, not at all. And, the campiness, it was ugly stupid, and the fact that most of it didn't work, even when they were trying to inject it in there, it just felt forced, and so... Yeah. I don't know. At the end of the day, I can't say I recommend the resurgence of this franchise. And
no,
I agree.
But they did set it up for more.
Oh, of course, right there at the end, and a nice quip from Mr. Spiner to make me laugh and make me wonder. Maybe I'd see that. So,
I know. Listen, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't see the sequel.
Yeah, I was disappointed. That's a good way to end
exactly.
it. So.
I would hope they would right the ship a little bit next time.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's all going to depend on the box office, and it's not tracking well right at the moment. I think Dory is still rocking it as of this filming. So in any event, man, I gotta send a grande gracias to all peeps watching this, send amigos across the globe, and also a thanks to this gentleman seated beside me who does a program with me that he is the creator of. He's gonna let you know all about it.
Absolutely. That's called The Horror Show. That is at youtube.com/The Horror Show channel. We do horror movie reviews, how-tos, comedy sketches, celebrity interviews, horror shorts, event coverage, all kinds of good stuff, as long as it's all under the horror umbrella. So if that sounds cool to you, head on over there and check it out.
Yep, hundreds of episodes of scarific fun, and I've been Jaime En Fuego. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and pretty much all social media sectors here on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, guys. Once again, gracias to Cecil. Thanks to you guys. And until next time, Sin Amigos, hasta luego. But let's make it sooner rather than later. Peace out. Die. No. It killed me.